Hello. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hi guys, so today I'm going to be starting a series. I feel like it's going to be 5 parts, like don't quote me on that because I've thought of 3 of them. I've got a first, a second and a 5th. And I'll explain why the 5th is the 5th later. But yeah, basically, let's get right into the video because there's no time to waste. Like, subscribe, notifications on. My sister said because I didn't say like in the video last time, she didn't like it. I was like, are you even my sister? Let me shut the door. Okay, man's back. Man's back. Anyway. It's a stain. I was just thinking a lot this week about faithfulness and feelings versus action and how that's kind of different. I think a lot of the time I put mindsets that I have and expectations I have for other people onto God, whereas God is so different from other human beings that I need to remember who he is in comparison to who we are and to just appreciate that he's so much better and so much more faithful. Okay, anyway, let's get into the video. So the series is going to be called Ways That God is Different to Us, or something like that, which sounds good and snappy. The reason I was thinking of this is because I was having a conversation with my friend and we were just talking about some things which divide churches up and some beliefs which certain people have, and then another group of people say like, how could you have this belief? It's crazy. But I just like to always ground it back to the fact that what we might see as weird or not have good reasons for when like God's commanded us to do them, it's because God is so different to us. Whenever we try to compare our minds to the wavelength of God's, you got a problem because like when God created you, he made us a certain way and he is a certain way, which is very different to us. We are made in his image, yes, amen. But also we're so different to him, and the ways maybe other people have treated us or we've treated people, or the way that we have our own mindsets and prejudices against people and things like that, like God does not have those things. Because I was really encouraged I went to the VIEW conference online, which was so lit, by the way. Like I don't think you can watch it actually. They might put some of it on YouTube later on. If you're here from the VIEW conference, say hello. I made lots of Instagram friends from that actually, so shout out to me. So let's get into the topic today. So today's topic is faithfulness. Why is God's faithfulness different to ours, and what can we learn from God? And then we'll look at some things about how we can be more Christ-like in our faithfulness. So let's get into the video now. So one way that God is different from us is his word does not and will not return to him void. And so if he said it, I believe it. If he said it, he's going to complete it. And it's not going to be like it. Nothing is going to end until that has been completed. His mission will be completed. Especially in like primary school, when you have those friends and they're a bit snaky, let's be real. And you're just in the playground and they're like,
yeah, I'll hang out with you like in the second break time. And then Stacey's just like, actually, I thought you said you were going to hang out with me. And then John is like, you said you were going to play football with me.
And do you know what I mean? And you're like, well, I said all these promises and now where will I go? But God is not like that. Like, he is completely different. If he promises something in the Bible, if you find something written down and God says he's going to do it, that means God's going to do it and he will fulfill it. When he said these things will bear fruit, and when he says this is good for you, like he definitely will. And so one thing to remember is like God is completely faithful and he will come through on what he said he'll do. And one good example of that is sending Jesus. For ages, people were waiting, like people who were reading the Old Testament and waiting for that Messiah to come. Like, to be honest, they must have been like, rah, God, like, you said this years ago, and has it happened? And then it did happen. That kind of leads me into my next point. Oh wait, it doesn't actually. Peek. Okay, forget that. Right. Jesus came into the world, and maybe it wasn't on time for what people would have expected, and maybe it wasn't in the way that they expected, but God is faithful and he fulfilled his promises. Like, wait on him and believe it, and just know that is a guarantee that if he said it, you can believe it. Point number 2 is he is for us. Like, if you're a Christian and you're in lockdown, which everyone knows the song The Blessing, right? And I absolutely love the part when it's like, he is for you.
He is for you. He is for you. Not against you. He is for you. He is for you. He is for you.
And it's funny how humans forget things so quickly. God will literally be like, I'm not saying this to harm you. I'm saying this because I love you. I'm for you. So, listen to me. It's all going to be Gucci. Then humans are like, is he really? Does he really? Like, he's literally giving you breath right now. He is sustaining your life right now. He is providing for you. He is for you. He's not against you. So many times I have in the back of my head, like, God's just waiting for me to, like, fall and mess up so that he can be like, ha.
Told you that she was gonna fail.
No, like, he is not like that. He's not wanting us to fail. He is for us. And that's another part of his faithfulness. When we let other people down, we kind of expect them to turn back on their word. Or if someone does something that I don't like, my actions might change depending on how I feel about it. But God is not like that. God chooses love. Love is action that always fulfills, and it's patient, and it is trustworthy, and it always perseveres, and it always hopes. And when you are down, and when you've been lost in sin, and you've forgotten God for years, like, he is still waiting for you. In the story of the prodigal son,
I would highly recommend pausing this video now. Or read the Bible.
when he returns, he's thinking like, oh, I'm going to have to work for my dad. Like, I've just completely blown it. And his father is like, yo, no, I'm actually going to throw you a party. I'm going to give you rewards. I want you to be with me. I'm for you. I'm not against you at all. Just know that he's faithful. And know that when he said something, you can believe it 100%. If there's something that you feel in your heart which you think God does not care about this anymore, maybe he promised it for other people, maybe it's for that person, maybe it's for the person who serves on a Sunday, maybe it's for the person who obeys him on the weekend. No, he's for every single one of you. If you listen to God and he said something to you, he's going to do it. Point number 3. So this is actually something that I learned from the conference that I was talking about, the VU conference. Mike Todd was talking about resolve over results. And not gonna lie, I don't really know what resolve means. And I feel like that's quite an American term. Like, I know what resolve means. One thing in terms of God's faithfulness is don't focus on what the situation looks like, but focus on what your conviction is and what obedience is. And what I mean by that is, don't stop being faithful just because the situation looks unfair or it looks like it's not going our way, because God is faithful to you, but will you be faithful to him? And I heard this really awesome quote when I was doing the Tear Fund course, and someone said, we're called to a life of faithfulness, not success. When you're obeying God and you're trusting that he's going to be faithful to you, you can be faithful to him as well. And so sometimes we look at our situation and we're like, well, God must have screwed this up because this is not the way I wanted it to go. Whereas he has a completely different plan for you, and he has things waiting down the line for you, which if you obey him in this moment, you're going to see the fruit of that, and it's going to come to fruition. But when you ignore him and you say, actually, God, I'm going to go my way on this one thing, but I'll come back to you later. Like, what does that say to God? Like, he's completely faithful. Are you trusting that Jesus rose from the dead? Are you trusting that in those days when he was dead, God was working? He was doing work behind the scenes. People thought Jesus is gone, but he rose again. Like, I'm learning this in myself as well. So many times we look at situations and we say that's hopeless, but when God's promised something, it's gonna happen. Be guided and trust him for what he said he's gonna do. So point number 4 is hear me out. Hear me out. I'm not saying don't doubt. I'm not saying don't have questions. But I am saying when you have those questions, voice them to God. He is there listening. You see always in the Psalms, like, David would just be like, God, I feel like you've abandoned me. Why aren't you listening to me? I feel this way. I feel upset. I feel angry. Like, he expresses what he feels to God. Yeah, Psalm 38 says, all my longings lie before you, Lord. My sighing is not hidden from you. My heart pounds, my strength fails me. And he says he's laying it down in front of God. He wants God to be able to know his heart. And so I'd urge you, if there are things that you're wrestling with, instead of turning away from God, turn towards God. Another thing is, take it to community. Community is so needed, especially in this time where we're locked up with our families who might not believe, or maybe we feel a bit lonely because we can't see friends. We can reach out. You can reach out to me. Like, I'm always happy to message you. You can message the.hopecast on Instagram. And so ask God, in what ways can he help you to still be faithful to him whilst wrestling with those questions? Know who God is. Know that he is faithful. Know that his character wants to love you and that he's for you. So you can know these characteristics of God, these core traits, and then you can say, actually, even though my situation doesn't look like what I want to happen, I know who God is and I know who holds the future. And there's a really cool quote. I don't know what my future is, but I know who holds it. And so just literally, please. Right, sorry about that, guys. My phone decided that it was going to run out of storage. So that's great. I just deleted a couple apps. Can't really remember where I got to. So I think I was about to say a little story to kind of demonstrate how our faithfulness is to God sometimes. As some of you may know, I'm a Nando's brand ambassador. So that means my job is to kind of represent Nando's and post about it, hype it up, you know. I do love Nando's, generally. I don't mind doing it, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? Today I don't feel like posting about it. Or, you know what? I know my boss told me to do this, but don't really want to, so I think I'm gonna not do it. Like, who would say that to their boss? Maybe, to be honest, some of you are brave, but I would not want to say that to my boss. That's probably not the greatest example, to be honest. But what I'm saying is, in the same way and so much more, we can trust God and we can devote ourselves to love God and surrender to his will and his plan and what he's asked us to do over how we feel. Because as God's children, we can serve him knowing that he is for us and that he loves us so much. And so in that, we can rest assured that when we're obeying him, it's out of love and it's giving us joy to do it. From everlasting to everlasting, he's the same. Are you gonna trust him and just be led by that? So yeah, that was just one way that God is so different to us in his faithfulness. And I hope that was really encouraging to you. So I hope you enjoyed that. I kind of feel weird now because I've been wearing glasses for so long. But these are just to read. Videos coming out. And I'm also going to be having a Hopecast video episode coming up. So stay tuned. Turn those notifications on so you find out when the next video is. And please like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications on. And share this video with your friends if you found it encouraging. And yeah, my main goal with these are just to really encourage people that they can trust God and that they can follow him for who he is. So overall, I'm just going to say I hope and pray that you follow Jesus today if you don't already, and that you continue to follow him if you are already. So leave a comment, let me know how you found it, any suggestions as well. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Peace.
Why? Ways that God is different. Kind of. So let's get into the topic. He wasn't like, oh, I'm going to give them the exact same mind and they're all going to go create the universe. He's like, no, he didn't do that.